Steve Herker. Steve, would you like to do an introduction?
Sure. Hi, Bobbie. Hi, Brent. I'm Steve Herker. I work for EXL. I'm the lead product owner for the LifePro Insurance Administration Solutions. So I've spent a good 30 years plus in the insurance administration space, working with customers to solve challenges. Spent a lot of those years doing solution consulting and working on guiding implementation projects. So I'm really happy to be here today.
Awesome. Then with us, we also have Brent. Do you want to do a quick intro?
Do the same one I always get. Hey everyone, Brent Williams, founder and CEO of Benekica.
Want him to jazz it up, like jazz hands one of these days. So with our tradition of Happy Friday, we share Happy Friday stories, whether that's gratitude, positive stories, work or personal. So Steve, since you are a guest of honor, we would love for you to go first.
Awesome. Well, I do have a work and a personal, if that's okay. So
yes.
I'll start with work. I think that, I think one nice thing this week is that, and you invited me to this conversation. And I think when you kind of go into your week to try to think about where you're going to have gratitude, I think it kind of manifests itself. So I think that was really good. And I was lucky to have some really good conversations this week. One from yesterday kind of stood out to me, and it was with one of our product owners, Jennifer, and one of our lead developers, Scott. And I was coming to plug into a forum that they have to, basically, I had a problem that's been on my mind, or really an area where we want to evolve. And I kind of came into it with the mindset of like, well, what's going to be the quickest route? How can we evolve this? But when I got there, I was presented with this like completely realized solution, and it was very dynamic, forward thinking. And I think it was just that I didn't expect it. So I mean, I fully expect them to come up with great solutions, but I didn't expect it that day. And it was really well thought out. And I kind of have in my mind too that I think it's really easy to kind of take for granted those people in your life, whether in your work life or personal life, that they're just always, it seems like they're always going the extra mile. And, I really try to appreciate those people because, it's just great when, they're dated, if that's just the mode they're in, you don't want to take it for granted. So it seems like in the day-to-day work day, there's a lot of problem solving, racing from meeting to meeting, but it was just one of those meetings where we could really kind of step back and brainstorm about evolution. And, those moments in the week, those are the things that I kind of geek out at. So, again, maybe a smaller thing, but it just really, I thought it was great. It was important to me. So.
Oh, that's awesome, Steve.
Yeah. So do you want to hear my next one, my other one?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
Great. Well, on Monday morning, first thing, I was really lucky. I got my first COVID-19 vaccine shot. So that was really exciting. And I went to Indiana University North here in Indianapolis. And it was this great combination of everybody was like super efficient and super nice, both, which is a great combination, And it's funny because, I knew that, vaccines were rolling out and that, eventually be eligible, but it just happened faster than I thought. And, it was kind of this a little bit of, suddenly I started thinking about the rest of the year a little bit differently. And hey, maybe I'll be able to go somewhere this summer. And, it's just, I don't know, it was just like this kind of little, and obviously it's not like the world's problems are solved yet, but just like it really felt momentum. And I did really appreciate it that I had the opportunity to do that. And Indiana's been doing a good job. I live here in Indianapolis. So that was exciting for me. So that was one thing that was a standout this week.
That's pretty
Congratulations.
Cool. Thank you.
I think
I
Bobbie,
had to take my parents to get their second dose. And that was like, as a child, that was like the biggest relief ever. Because my dad's in his 70s, my mom's in her late 60s. And I was like, this is done. I feel good. Now my turn.
Exactly. Both my folks have had both their shots too, so I'm very happy about that. So that's great.
Steve, it's funny you mentioned that about, people, employees or coworkers or colleagues or surprising you. And, I have it every day. I get surprised every single day by the people on our team. Everybody knows how wonderful Bobbie is, but there's other people on the team too that surprise both Bobbie and I and Sylvan, and we get surprised on a daily basis. But I used to have this poster in my office that used to say, sometimes in the rush of business life, we fail to say thank you loud enough or often enough to hear. And it's so true. We just get so heads down in trying to accomplish what we're trying to accomplish that sometimes we just fail to take a step back and go, wow, that was a really good moment. That was a really good job, or whatever it was. And so that was kind of cool to hear that.
Great.
Brent, anything else to share?
Oh, so you want me to share my happy story?
Yeah.
So my happy story, a couple things. I'll piggyback a little bit on Steve's vaccine, because I think what a lot of people maybe not fail to realize, but maybe don't take the time to recognize is, yes, when the vaccine first came out, there was a lot of complaining that it was going to take way too long to get it. And, I think they've even shrunk that. I mean, like you said, you got a lot sooner than you expected.
You did.
Bobbie, you and I were talking that your parents got a lot sooner than you expected them to get it. And I think there's something to step back and realize that, it's those workers, those researchers, those doctors, those people who probably spent 12 to 18-hour days, to try to figure out a vaccine prior to even going into production. That sometimes we need to step back and realize that those are the people that need a pat on their back as well, because it's one of those. I often say there's many jobs out there that are what I consider thankless jobs. Years and years ago, and I used to be a police officer, and that was one of those thankless jobs. It was one of those jobs that you just didn't hear thank you enough. And I think that's one of those jobs as well, as the people who created that vaccine and did the research and spent the time in the lab and, grind it out. I mean, if you think about it, that's what they had to do. They had to grind it out and figure out a solution. And then the next step of that is the production. And then the next step of that is, getting it out to the people sooner than everybody thought. I think that's just a pretty cool story if you step back and think about the whole, life cycle of that. So for my Happy Friday story, we've been growing the Benekiva team quite a bit. And, this week we had the opportunity to actually go in the office. We have a new person that joined the team, and we finally got to the point to where Benekiva needs a CFO. And so we finally got to the point where we got a dedicated CFO person on the team to where they can help us with, getting all of our QuickBooks and our financials and, our cash flow statements and all that stuff that, up until this point we've been doing, right? I mean, in a startup, you wear so many hats that it's finally nice to start, handing some of those things off. And, Bobbie shared not last week, but the week before last about that was her Happy Friday was she got to take some things off of her plate and hand them over here. And
Right.
so it's finally nice to start getting to that point. But it was also nice to go to the office, now.
Oh, yeah.
One part of me was complaining, when I had my meeting set, I was like, man, this is kind of crap. I got to schedule 15 minutes travel time, which I had nothing to do. Usually I get to a meeting a couple minutes before and done. Now I have to figure out, wait a minute, I got to leave 15 minutes early to get to the office. So I found it kind of interesting. But anyway, it made me happy. The team's growing, and now it's starting to get to the point where, you know, the founders can maybe, you know, get their heads above water and have some free time and take some of that stuff off our plate. So it's nice.
Yeah, that's terrific. Congrats.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome, Brent. Awesome. My happy story, I have a couple. So one is when we talk about, you know, like how often we forget to say thank you. And, you know, this week, Brent reminded me of that. So I was explaining like, oh, you know, we've got this and this and this. And we heard like that. We always share boom news and like our Slack channels, like anything big. And this time we've been, the team has been doing a lot of focused activities on marketing. That's an area of our company that we're now having a dedicated group of people focused on marketing efforts. And it's always awesome when we sent out a message and there's a reply, and the reply typically comes to Brent from a carrier who's interested in talking to us. So you could see the fruit and labor of that email campaign. Sometimes, you know, email campaigns are so indirect, you may not get that instant response. Here we saw that instant response. And, you know, there's a lot of work and strategy that our marketing team is doing, and it's kudos to them too. Now we're seeing our little engine, you know, getting better and better and better even on the marketing side.
Yeah.
And my second news, this is exciting. We just talked to, we had like a meeting, internal meeting to talk about benefits and some of the benefits that as a startup, right, or kind of like a scale up, that now we get to do is think about our culture and think about benefits that we want to add to make our employees better or add some fun to life, right? So a couple of things we're evaluating, you know, not set in stone, but evaluating is like a wellness credit. So this industry standard is, you know, I don't know, like $200. We want to do a little bit more. It's because we want to say we're not the industry standard. Working for Benekiva, we Brent and I are big fitness freaks. We want to encourage and motivate our team. So if you do want a pair of those running shoes that you just don't, you know, want to spend a little bit money on just because you don't want to, we now have a credit, like we can give you guys credit to do some of the things to make sure that you're taking care of yourself. So because that's what we want you to do. We do fitness challenges as Steve in our Slack channel. Like the last one was like 100 burpees, and only like the handful of crazies did it, which was awesome. Morph was the last one.
I want to get in on that.
Yeah.
We'll get you added, but it's so much fun. And we do these like little prizes, but now we're offering credit, which is just if somebody wants a personal trainer, now there's no excuse. Do it. Use this credit towards that. And the second piece that we're adding is really supporting folks in the community, right? So whether you're part of a soccer league or whether you're doing bike races, golf, whatever, like your leisurely activities, in some scenarios, we can sponsor that. Like a league, you know, we've got Sovin and Suraj who play on a soccer league. Soccer season starts, Benekiva can start to sponsor some of those things. Not, you know, like just some little things that can help employees, encourage them to pursue things that are outside of work as well. Those things make me really happy because it's really fulfilling the vision of our culture as a company.
Yeah.
That's good stuff. That's exciting.
Steve,
Okay, guys. Yeah, go ahead.
We'll have to get you one of our fitness shirts.
I'm all about it. I would come back and wear it.
Awesome.
When Bobbie started doing these fitness challenges in our Slack, we said we got to, you know, for the people that do it, we need to give them like a prize or something. So we had these special workout shirts made that just had the Benekiva logo on it, but it's really small. You know, our normal shirts are like Bobbie's, where it's big Benekiva logo, but these are, it's a really small logo, but then it's got a saying on it. And one of them, you know, the one I brought to the table was, I don't work out, I train. And then there's Bobbie had one, solving real problems, and then there's she had some made. I didn't take one of these, Steve, but she did.
Oh.
It says, I eat burpees for breakfast.
Fit fam who just finished 100 burpee challenge.
When she said that, when I say that, I'm thinking, that just doesn't even sound right. I'm not even gonna put that on my t-shirt, but she has one.
Steve, we did this crazy burpee challenge. It started off with 5 burpees, and Nigel, if you're listening, I'm going to tag you on this post. So Nigel's idea was, oh, okay, you know, February has 28 days, and why don't we start at day 3, which is you start off with 15 burpees, and you kind of every day you add 5. So the latter couple of weeks, you're doing like 70 burpees, 75 burpees a day, every day. I mean, that's like it was crazy. But we wrapped up with 100. And
wow,
I cheated, like I skipped a couple of days.
But burpees, so that would be a good challenge, you know, because I like to run and bike, but that'd be something to put in the mix there.
Yeah.
I'd be all about it.
Yeah, we did a plank challenge the other month. This month we're doing squats. So there's an InsurTech Fit Fam group that a lot of our colleagues from UK, all over the place, like different companies, and we just hold each other accountable.
Cool.
And we're doing this global monthly challenges, and it's pretty fun. It's pretty fun.
Yep.
So Steve, if you don't have Twitter, get on Twitter and I'll add you to Fit Fam.
Okay.
I think Brent's already on it. So.
Yep.
Okay, well, this wraps up our Happy Friday. Steve, thank you so much for joining us for this Happy Friday. And until next time, thank you, everyone.